Hello everyone, bonjour tout le monde. Welcome back to Johanna Basford's page from Worlds of Wonder. And we're going to be coloring silver. Oh. Okay, here are the combos. Cool Grade 1067, Cool Grade 1065, 50% Cool Grade 1063, 30% Cool Grade 1061, 10% Cool Grade 1059. We'll be adding some periwinkle 1025, slate gray 936 to give it a little bit of a tint. So let's get this camera zoomed in. By the way, I've been calling this a temple, and I looked it up in Wikipedia, and it's a hold on. Oh, I should Pagdoa? I'll look into it and give you the right word. All right, let's start with the silver. So we're going to start with the darkest cool gray that we have, and we'll go on the sides, going lighter as we go in the middle. So the exterior, so a dark line, let's say, and then a little transition area. I'll do the same here. Am I zoomed in very well? Okay, yeah. So a line over here, let's say 3 lines worth, dark, and then a transition area right there. Same thing here, dark, like that, and then a transition area right there. So here again, and our transition area. We'll work around the windows a little differently. We'll just do the corner. Bottom here, and the top over here. Like this is like a T, upside down T. All right. Over here we'll go with very dark and then transition area. Gray is a good color to use. It's a neutral. I'll keep this area for the pinks. So the top here, very dark, and the bottom very dark, and a transition area. Same here. Like that. Here it'll be darker under this roof. A little transition area. We'll do the side here darker with a transition area darker. The transition area is just a one layer. Here it's going to be dark because it's pretty much covered by the hair. Here is some more shading. We'll go with the left for the shading over here on the left side. Okay. Now with our lightest gray, we'll just blend this. It's a very small area. It's not going to take very many colors. So, all right. The next color is the 70% cool gray. So let's go ahead in this transition area that we left here. So the transition area this area doesn't have any tooth left, right? I go dark enough, and then transition area has a lot of tooth left because we'll be putting another color on there. Same here. So we started with our 90%, which has no more tooth. And then the transition area, we go over with our 70%. Now there's no more tooth. And we add a transition area with just one layer for our next color. Same here. So we go over the transition area, dark. We can press a little bit harder because we know that there won't be any tooth left there. A transition area is just one layer. Transition area. Just go for a little transition area. This is very small, so we're not really going to put many other colors. Let's go straight to the lightest gray for this area. I'm dragging out what I can from the darker grays here, just by pulling the color. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use my Prismacolor colorless blender. Where's the number? 1077. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and smooth that out. And with the Posca, Okay, so in the middle here where it's going to be a bit lighter, I'm just going to add a little bit of Posca. Here it's going to be a little bit lighter, so just a bit of Posca in each light area. Once that is dry, I will go over it with the white. And it'll just really blend it in. So that's going to be afterwards. Let's continue with the 1065 70% cool gray. So let's make this dark so we can go heavy-handed, and then a transition area. Dark, transition area. Dark, transition area. Okay, so our next color will be hold on, 50%. So which one is 50%? Here it is. Okay. Am I still in a good view? All right. So with my 50%, I'm going to come and very lightly, I will color the rest of this. Okay, so up here we still have room to go ahead with the next colors. So 30% cool gray 1061. So we'll keep adding on this side. And then after the 30%, what was afterwards? The 10%. Okay. So we'll go in with the 10%. I'll just blend all of it. Everything that we've already colored here. So we can see more of the silver on this piece because it's bigger than the others. We're forgetting this one here. Go in with that. So I blended with the white. I'm going back in with the 30% 1060. Just going very lightly on top and on the side. Okay, so with my white, there we go. So we can see that gray effect much better with the bigger area. 1059, 10% gray. So we'll just come out here, blend. We can go ahead and do the bubbles with this 10% and still put pink on top. It'll be a nice little muted pink. Okay, so we had this little part up here to do. Let's take the darkest one. So let's do the ends with the darkest. Let's take the Prismacolor blender, 1077, and just drag some of that out. All right, you remember that we put some Posca over here, there and there, 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 and there. With my white, I'm going to go ahead and just blend everything over that Posca very lightly. I'm not pressing too hard. It's just going to get that white to be a little bit more blended in. And we're still getting a light effect. This little diamond here on the left side, we'll color inside. On the left, we'll color inside. And with the white, we will blend just on the right side. So on the left is the dark gray, and on the right is the lighter gray. Okay, so with our white, we're going to blend out some of this gray here. Like that. Let's go ahead and do that over here. Like that. Let's blend that out some more. Let's blend this out. We're blending just the light area because I don't want to get the dark area in there. The dark area can go in afterwards because our pencil will be darkened because of the dark color. So the tip of our pencil needs to be cleaned off. So we'll just do like that. Okay. With the periwinkle, we will go ahead and do the windows. This periwinkle tends to go on the gray side, so it usually goes very well with silver. Let's do this one here. What's this part? Yeah. I have to keep checking if I'm in the right, in the camera's view. Oh, we almost had electricity come out. That's true. Today is a day of ice rain. So if you don't need to go out, people should not go out. So we're just going to do the left side with a 936 slate gray. The left side of the window. Is it still filming? Yeah. That little glitch of the electricity that was going out. I'm surprised the camera did not shut off. Okay, I have to put some periwinkle right here. Let's put some of the slate gray around where the swirl is. So we're staying on the left side. Okay. The darkest gray will go ahead and go on the side of each side here. I'm gonna go on top as well. Okay, now with our white, we will blend in the lightest colors here. Not touching the dark slate gray. So we're just blending the lighter sides. And then with the blender, I will come and blend those slate gray areas. Okay, I'm going to clean my blender and just go over all of my red areas here. Okay. Let's get the, oh, I wanted to show you why when you look at this, the pinks here go so well with the green. Because if you look at the color wheel, if you go to red, right here, you have the line here pointing towards the red, and straight down is the complementary, which is green. And then you have variants in the green, right? We have like a lime green, a gray green, and variants in the red. We have the pink, the burgundy, and this one, I'm not sure how to call this one. So complementaries always have a good effect on your page. So let's try to find those pinks. This one, the greens, the pinks over here, and what else? Okay, I'm going to put away the blues and grays. And we will continue the hair. Let's zoom in. That's good. All right. So with the darkest, which is the Mahogany Red 1029. We go ahead and cover, saturate with the heavier hand till we don't see any tooth. So no more white. Completely saturated. So the roads here in Quebec will be very bad today. The cities will be putting as much salt or sand or gravel on the roads. Okay, the next red would be, the next darkest is 195 Pomegranate. So let's go right beside it here. We're covering all of the tooth. Like this. I'll go back in with my darkest, the mahogany, and just redo this. I can see some tooth there. All right. After that, I'm going in with the hot pink 933. I'll just do both here because it's very tiny. And by the time that I go in with the Posca, okay, here it's thicker, so I'll just do the top one with the hot pink. And the next color, Process Red 944. And then with the Deco Pink 1014. So So I'm waiting for a package with some art supplies. I don't really order very much because, well, I do have a budget, so, but the supplies that I ordered, some of it is like a basic tools that I need for coloring. And some of it is for fun. Oh, who is that? Hello.
Hi.
How are you? All right, I'm back. That was my mom that just called me. So at the same time, coming back to filming, we almost lost electricity again. So I don't know how this is going to go. And I took the time to look at Wikipedia. So this, what I was calling a temple on the back of the horse, is actually a pagoda, is a tiered tower with multiple eaves, common in Tibet, Thailand, Cambodia, Nepal, India, China, Japan, Korea, Myanmar, Vietnam, and other parts of Asia. Most pagodas were built to have a religious function, most often Buddhist, but sometimes Taoist or Hindu, and were often in or near vihara. So there's a whole page that you can read about if it's something that interests you. I found that on Wikipedia. So I see there's a little section here that needs to be completed. windows need more blending. So right now I'm with the 10% cool gray, 1059. All right. I'm going to show you what this is going to look like with some Posca. So we will be going over the white lines. I think my white line is going to be faded because the Posca is starting to run out. I do use it a lot, so when I get my parcel, I'll be able to use a brand new Posca. And I'll be able to compare and see how much better and easier it is to use. Now, the whole tip here can be in white. You can go in with a lot of Posca. I'm going to let that dry and then it'll be easier to go in. When it's dry, I can go and add an extra layer. With a lot of Posca, it really embellishes. Now it's nicer when you can go in one long spread, but for some reason my hand gets shaky. So when I start going little by little, the line is not as pretty, so. But I'm gonna just go with it for now and fix it later. So here it's dry, so I can still go over it and add some more white here. I also have gouache that I can go in with a brush, a paintbrush, so I might try that, see what happens. I usually use gouache to paint the whole, like let's say in this case I would have painted all of the temple and then go over the gouache with my pencils. This should be dry, so I can just go over it again. So it's going to be fun to see with a brand new Posca if I make nicer lines, not as shaky as I am right now. I need all the help I can get. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit here. All right. I do have another pen here with me. Let's try that one out. Okay. So this is the Uniball Signal White. And I think this one came from Amazon because of this writing here. It says made in Japan, Mitsubishi, but I could be wrong, right? So am I in view? I am. Okay. If it's not running, I go back to my black paper and get it to run. Okay, same thing with this one. It's not really running very well, so we'll see with the new one how that goes. The order is from Michaels, so I trust that the pens will be the original. I like to know, am I getting the real original product? Okay, so this is not working very well. Maybe it doesn't like coloring on Prisma, I don't know. We'll test that out with the new ones, right? A lot of pens work better on polychromos because polychromos is not wax based, it's oil based. So the texture is very different. So this one is not that great right now. Not great at all. If I had to use this Posca all the time, well, this is a Uniball, but usually they work very well, but we'll see when we get the new one. I'm just going over it kind of, if I go over it, over the white here, it kind of levels it out. So let's just keep coloring all of the hair. That way when the order comes in, we'll be able to try the new stuff. Okay, so I have here, I'm going to use the Hot Pink, $9.93. I think I'll be coloring the horse gray. And yeah, I have all the leaves to do in green. So again, I'm not leaving any tooth. So I can go in heavy-handed, no problem. as long as I haven't sharpened the pencil too much, because if I go heavy-handed when it's really very sharp, I risk breaking it. So let's go back to our darkest, which is Mahogany Red 1029. This one has some white tooth left. I'm gonna fix that. Oh, almost had a blackout. I'm still recording though, so that's good, that's good. With the lightest pink, I colored over here and I continue over here. Okay, with the Mahogany Pomegranate 195. There's the little area here. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's still recording. That's pretty surprising. Okay. Let's try this one here. Pretty bad storm out there. Okay. So I guess they're not going to deliver today if the roads are really bad. Okay, this little area here, we're going to go pink in some of the areas. And then we're going to go with the hot pink 993. Are we in view here? We are. That's good. It's our lucky day. I should go buy some lottery. Okay, and now with the darkest 1029 Mahogany Red. Tell you what, I will go extremely lightly to get the tint, and then I'll go over that with the white. There. So again, I'll go very lightly. Very, very lightly. Very, very, very lightly. And over that with the white. Since I was in that area, I figured, okay, I'm just going to blend this gray out, but then I don't want the tip to come and dirty my other color, so I'm just wiping it up on my fingers. let's see what would happen if I went over with my lightest gray over this hot pink right here. So it'll tone it down. There we go. Let's do a little bit of green because the green complements the pink and red. So it'll give us a bit more color. So. With the olive green, I will go in and map out these areas here. Let's color this green. A tiny bit of green here, and we'll go in with something else. We'll do it like a letter C over here. Like that. And with the light gray, you can blend the lighter area. Okay, so let's repeat that. So olive green, very lightly. The letter C, we're going in darker. So very lightly around. And the letter C. Or we could say a half moon. And we will go in with the lightest gray and only blend the lightest area here, which was olive green. So it gives us a tint. All right. So with the grass green 909, we'll blend the olive green into our leaf. And then with our lightest green, the spring green 913, we will blend it out. There we go. So here we could go over the lines with the olive green, come out a little bit, then with the grass green, we go over that olive green and come out a bit. And with the lightest spring green, we will blend that out. There we go. I will go ahead and darken this shaded area here with the olive green. If I want to, I can go in with a dark pen, could be Stabilo. This one here is an SX, so it's very fine, and it's Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen. You can get that open stock. So I'm just going to go as close as I can to the shaded area here, very thin line. And that's going to take a little while to dry. There we go. This is going to be darker here, over here, here. Over here with this leaf. This leaf is on top of this leaf. This leaf is on top of this leaf. So there we go. Makes a huge difference. So I'm not going to want to put white around these flowers because I've just put the darkest black. So the black line of the flower actually doesn't matter anymore. It just blends in with the black. I need to do this one as well. Okay. I didn't forget this area here. All right. Let's continue coloring these leaves. So olive green for the darkest. This is our shade, here is our shaded area. We have a tiny little leaf here. So I'm just going to do the bottoms of these leaves. These very tiny leaves, and this leaf is over this one, so I'm going to go ahead and make that leaf darker. This leaf is over this leaf. We're going to have some shade. This leaf is under these two, so it'll be pretty dark. The bottom of the leaf is dark, and the vein. All right, so some shading here. This leaf is very dark because it's underneath this leaf. So let's go straight in because these are very small with the 913 Spring Green. And I'm starting at the top not to get the dark everywhere. That way I'm sure I'm going to have a light area. We're going to go in with the peacock green here. Whoa. How much time do we have left with the electricity? All right. Oh, geez. I think I'm going to stop because I don't want to get stuck without electricity and then not having... Okay, yeah, I better stop. I don't want to mess up the video. Okay, so we're going to stop here. Like and subscribe. And thank you very, very much for listening. And we'll be back together very soon. Bye-bye.